Okay, now we're going to look at division of polynomials. So the first division of polynomials we're going to do is to divide a polynomial by a monomial. So that means a many-term expression by a one-term expression. So let's look at this. Polynomial divided by a monomial. Okay, so let's do it. So the first thing we do is I rewrite my problem as separate fractions. For example, if I have x squared minus 6 divided by 2, I can rewrite this as x squared over 2 minus 6 divided by 2, which will simplify to x squared over 2 minus 3. And that can help you to simplify things in different ways. Okay? Then, after that, you simplify each fraction. If it isn't written in the first form as a fraction, that would be your first step. So now let's look at an example of this. Let's look at a problem. We have 20m to the third power plus 15m to the second power plus 20m, and it's divided by 5m squared, 5m to the second power. So my first step is to rewrite this as a fraction. So my polynomial from there goes in the numerator. In other words, the dividend, and now the divisor, which is 5m squared, goes in the denominator. Now your next step is to write this in 3 separate fractions. So I would have 20m cubed divided by 5m squared plus 15m squared divided by 5m squared plus 20m divided by 5m. Now we will go and we will simplify each one of these fractions. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. M cubed divided by m squared, using your quotient rule, we have 3 minus 2, which gives you m, plus m squared divided by m squared is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3, plus, oops, I forgot my square here. Now notice here, 20 divided by 5 gives you a 4 on the top, but this numerator has 1 and this one has 2. So 2 minus 1 is going to give you 4 in the numerator and m in the denominator, because 2 minus 1 is 1 for your denominator. So this is why we divide it into separate fractions. It's in case you get things like this. Because if you try to do it with long division, this is a lot harder to see. But in this style, it's really easy to see. Okay, let's look at another one. m n squared plus 24 m squared n minus 90 m times n divided by 18 m squared n. As you can see, this is more complex. So now we're going to divide it into three separate fractions. So you're going to have 90 mn squared divided by 18 m squared n. We've got a negative, good, plus 24 m squared n divided by 18 m squared n minus 90 m n divided by 18 m squared n. Okay, starting with our first one. Well, m is to the first, so 2 minus 1 and minus 1 there. So 90 divided by 18 is 5. So that's 5 on the top. M is gone, but n to the 2 minus 1 leaves you n on top. And m to the 2 minus 1 leaves you an m on the bottom. Plus. Well, m squared cancels m squared, n cancels n. And now all I have to do is simplify that fraction. Well, 24 has 3 times 8, 3 times 6. How about a 6? 6 goes into 24, and that makes 4. 6 goes into 18, and that makes 3. So this is 4 over 3. Okay, now minus. 90 divided by 18 again is 5 on the top. N cancels with n, and this is 2 minus 1, so gives you an m on the bottom. So this is how we do this division of a polynomial by a monomial. Now let's look at a polynomial divided by a polynomial. So let's look at several of these. But first of all, let us do a review of long division, because that's important. If I take 12 and I want to divide it into 6,075, okay? As you may not remember, but when we did long division, it had a process. The first of the process was to divide, and then multiply, and then subtract, and then bring down. This is kind of cool because you can actually do symbols. You like hands-on learning? Divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. And that's the process that we use for doing long division. So you start first. Does 12 go into 6 evenly? No, 6 is too small. So therefore we have to look at 60 divided by 12. Well, 60 divided by 12 is 5, and notice where your 5 goes. It doesn't go above the 6, it goes above the 0, because it took 60 for 12 to go into it evenly, or to go into it. 5 times 12 is 60, so you see we did divide, then we multiply. Now we subtract and get 0. Now bring down the next number. Does 12 go into 7? No, it doesn't. 7's too little to have an integer. Okay, so that means I'm going to have to put a 0 there, and I could multiply and end up with 0, subtract and bring down. I'm just going to bring the next one down since I already have the 0 in there. Does 12 go into 75? Yes, it does. It goes in 6 times, so we put a 6 up here. 6 times 12 is 72. And now we subtract. See, we divided, subtract, divide, multiply, subtract. And 5 minus 2 is 3. So this is no more digits up here, so there's nothing left to bring down. This had a remainder of 3. So we can write this remainder of 3, or we can write it as 506 and 3/12, and 3/12 would reduce to 506 and 1/4. So we end up with a whole number and a fractional part when we have a remainder. If we don't have a remainder, then we end up with just a whole number. And that's kind of what we're going to look at. That same process is going to be used when we do polynomial division. We could also write this as 506 plus 3/12. And this is the form we're going to use for polynomial division. So, now let's look at another example. X plus 7 is going into x to the second plus 5x minus 3. Okay? So there are some differences between the long division we just did, but not a lot. Remember, we looked at the first integer, the first digit in the number. It wasn't big enough, so then we looked at the first 2 digits. Well, this has something similar, only now we say first term in divided by first term out. So what is first term in? First term in is the term here. First term out is the one there. So we're looking at x squared divided by x. X squared divided by x is equal to x. If I were to write it here, x squared divided by x, well, this is 2 minus 1, leaving me with x. So it's good to know your division principles, your quotient rule for exponents. So now your next step is multiply using distribution. So you see we divided, then we multiply, only this time we're going to multiply using distribution. Okay, so x times x is x squared. X times 7 is plus 7x. I'm going to erase that line. Now what's going to happen? Well, we multiply by using distribution. Normally we would subtract, but our subtraction is going to take place with a changing of the signs in this row here. So x squared becomes negative x squared, plus becomes minus 7x. So our next one is change the signs, draw the line. Draw the line. And then my last step, to finish this up, because the subtraction only did part of it, we need to actually look at finishing it. So this one, x squared minus x squared is 0. 5x minus 7x is a minus 2x. So 4 is add and bring down. So you see it's very similar to that long division. So what am I going to bring down? This term here, which is minus 3. Now you start over. First term in, divide by first term out. So I have negative 2x divided by x, leaving me with a negative 2. And notice it's right above its like term, and you're out of terms, so this is our last one. Multiply by distribution. Negative 2 times x is a minus 2x. Negative 2 times 7 is a minus 14. Now, change the signs and draw the line. Negative 2x plus 2x is 0. Negative 3 plus 14 is going to give you a positive 11. Oh, I miscopied. That was 33. Okay, yes, this will be a negative 19. Okay? So we have a remainder on this one. So how do we write that? Well, we have x minus 2 plus negative 19 divided by my divisor, which is x plus 7. And the reason we put the plus here is when we have more than one term in the numerator. If I put a minus here and they're not both minus, then you're in trouble with your signs. So put plus and then whatever the remainder is over your divisor. Okay, let's look at another example. This is going to divide by 4x minus plus 4, sorry. Okay, again, let's put it in long division format. 4x plus 4 is dividing into 16x cubed minus 12x squared minus 60x minus 32. Notice your exponents have to be in descending order. Very important. Okay, first term in divided by first term out goes in 4x cubed times. So 4x cubed times 4x squared is 16x. No, this is x squared. X to the third. And 4x squared times 4 is plus 16x squared. Now, change the sign. Draw the line. This cancels out. Negative 12x minus this gives me negative 28x squared. Bring down my next term, minus 60x. 4 goes into negative 28 minus 7 times, and x goes into x squared x times. Negative 7x. Let's multiply. Negative 7x times 4x is a negative 28x squared. Negative 7x times 4 is a minus 28x. Change the sign, draw the line. This is 0. Negative 60 plus 28 is a negative 32x. Bring down the next term, minus 32. 4 goes into negative 32 minus 8 times. 8 times, and x goes into x, cancels out. Negative 8 times 4 is minus 32x. And negative 8 times 4 is minus 32. Change the sign, draw the line, 0 and 0. So we have 0 remainder. So your answer on this one is right here, 4x squared minus 7x minus 8. Okay? Let's look at another one. Okay, I think we have time to do one more before we stop this video. (18x to the 4th) plus 21x to the 3rd plus 7x and then minus 2 divided by 3x squared plus 1. The first thing you need to notice is we have 4, 3, and exponent of 1. So we're minus an x squared term, and we're going to have to put it in, and we have x squared and no x. So we're going to have to put some terms in. So 3x squared plus 0x plus 1. That gets our term in that we need. And now we have 18x to the 4th plus 21x cubed plus 0x squared plus 7x minus 2. You use a 0 to get those extra spots in that we don't have. Now, 18x to the 4th divided by 3x squared is going to be 6x squared. 18 divided by 3 is 6. X to the 4th divided by x squared is x squared. So this is 3x squared. And notice I put it above my x squared term. Now, multiply with distribution. 3x squared, no, that's 6, sorry, wrong number. 6x squared. 6 times 3 is 18x to the 4th. And 6x squared times 0 is plus 0x cubed. And 6x squared times 1 is plus 6x squared. Change the signs. Draw the line. Okay? Now, this one cancels. And 21x cubed minus 0 is 21x cubed. 0x squared minus 6x is minus 6x squared. Bring down my next term, plus 7x. Now, 21 divided by 3 is plus 7. X squared, no. X cubed divided by x squared is just x. Okay, again, multiply by distribution. 7x times 3x is 21. X to the 3rd power, 2 plus 1. 7x times 0 is plus 0x squared. And 7x times 1 is plus 7x. Change the signs. Draw the line. This is 0. Negative 6 minus 0 is negative 6x squared. 7x minus that is plus 0x. And bring down my last term, which is a minus 2. Now, negative 6 divided by 3 is a negative 2. And x squareds cancel out. So negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6x squared. Negative 2 times 0 is a minus or plus 0x, doesn't really matter. We'll put minus 0x. And then negative 2 times 1 is minus 2. Change the signs. Draw the line. 0, 0, and 0. So my answer is 6x squared plus 7x minus 2. Okay, I think we'll stop with that one. Have fun!